Well, the other senatorial candidate on UNA's slate is Richard Gordon, who is your rival, who your foe, right? How are you going to navigate this?
You know what? I'm a very professional legislator. Whatever issues I have with the Gordons is only on the local level during election period. It just so happened that, we're up against each other. But as far as I'm concerned, after elections, they go their way, I go mine. I do my thing as a congresswoman. And if Richard Gordon and I are here together in UNA, there are some advocacies that we can work on together. Because I never take things personally. You should never take politics personally. It always should be for the public good. And you should always be very objective in your point of view in addressing and attacking issues, because that will keep you focused on helping the people. Because once you put your personal agenda into politics, and once you put your personal feelings into politics, you will never succeed as a public servant. You won't be effective.
From 1986 until today, Filipinos have become more cynical about politics, about the political process from the height of the promise of EDSA until today. How are you going to talk to them? I mean, you've already talked about being outspoken, calling a spade, but is there anything different in these 2013 elections? Are you going to do anything different?
I'll really try my best to try to show people that there are candidates that they can elect. Maybe we're not fashionable, maybe we're not part of the administration slate, but we can provide a good alternative. And somebody who will really espouse their cause. Because at the end of the day, you need somebody to speak out on your behalf. And let's face it, you may be on this side of the coin now, but tomorrow you'll never know. Maybe there's an issue that might crop up which is against your principles. And that you need somebody to articulate it for you. See? And that's why I've always been, if you look at my political career, I've gone from left to right and center. And they can't really pin me down with on where I would stand on an issue. There were so many issues in the past administration that I went against, and I told them I'm not for it. And that's why I'm always very vocal in every committee hearing. I'm a very hands-on legislator. I'm one of the most active members in the lower house, and that's probably why I get elected most outstanding congressman every year. I already got the highest award, which is Emeritus Hall of Fame awardee, and that they said we can't give you everything every time because hanggang 5 times lang yan dapat. But we gave you the highest already. But you know why they gave me an award in 2011, even though I already reached the highest award? Because they told me, imagine wala ka ng PDAF. They withheld your PDAF, yet you were able to continue all your projects and programs in your district for free to all your constituents. And that's a difficult feat to do by any congressman. And the challenge, the pressure that was brought to me, but I said, no, I have an obligation to my constituents. I will make sure, and hindi ko kayang tiisin yung mga constituents ko when I see that kawawa na nga sila, tapos they don't get benefits pa coming from the government because of politics. So when you're talking about daang matuwid, is that daang matuwid?
Let me ask you then about this administration. How would you rate its performance?
As far as Pinoy is concerned, I cannot rate Pinoy per se. I have to do it the administration. 6.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. 6 because there were so many issues that they promised in the past that they did not deliver. The FOI bill. He promised it.
What's
your
position on the FOI bill?
In the last administration, I was for the FOI bill. Okay. And I'm very disappointed with the version that they're coming out in Congress right now. It's so watered down.
Okay.
That's not the version we want.
Okay, so
it doesn't really bring transparency and accountability. So they promised transparency and accountability. I guess with shooting down the FOI, they already lost there. They promised us kung walang korap, walang mahirap. Then how come in the Bureau of Customs, they've never met their target on a monthly basis? And they cannot give us the excuse that the quota's too high or the target's too high. The ones setting it are their own allies. And number 3, how come the tax leakage in the Aquino administration is much, much higher than the other administrations? 3.2, 3.6, and 19.6. That's way above. So where's the daang matuwid there? When you say walang korap, walang mahirap, that's a clear example of walang korap, walang mahirap. And we all see naman na there are some instances in the past that instead of these cabinet secretaries and appointees defending the president, it's the president defending them. Yes. There was a clear case when I keep on saying this. I went to Negros Oriental. I knew that the president saw how devastated it was after the earthquake. And he even released 990 million for rehabilitation of the province. It went to the normal process of NDRRMC, yes, and then the executive secretary signing it, the DBM released half of the amount to the province. But because it came during the period of elections, and the incumbent governor is not an LP, he's a I don't know what party he belongs to, and they have a candidate for governor, they were saying, let's not give the money to the governor. Popogi siya eh. Kawawa yung kandidato natin, baka hindi manalo. Kasi syempre, the people will ingratiate themselves to the governor because he was the one who was able to rehabilitate the province. Imagine, ginawang negative saro ni Butch Abad. And who suffered? The people of Negros Oriental. And sinong napahiya? Si Pinoy. That's why I was saying, why are you doing that to your own president? You're marginalizing Pinoy. They say that it's Una who's going to make him a lame duck president. No, it's not. It's they. His allies in the administration are the ones who are making him lame duck because of political reasons. They're looking at 2016. Hey, he's the president. He decided, I want to give 990 million to that province. I want to make sure that the promise I made that to rehabilitate it. You know, I went to there recently after New Year. Yung nagibang tulay, yung mga nasirang kalsada hanggang ngayon, giba pa rin. Hindi na pagawa because of politics, because they want to release the funds. So, where's the daang matuwid there?
Let me pull you out bigger picture. Right now, the Philippines is one of the fastest growing economies in the world,
Yes.
in Asia for sure, right? Part of it is we're because the rest of the world, the developing nations are not doing well.
Yeah, they're
we're
not doing
actually
well.
doing better in comparison also. So we're gaining a boost from that. These elections are coming at a key time. Do you see any kind of transformation that will happen? Or are we going to be stuck at the he said, she said, personality-driven politics?
I think, well, if you look at the commercials pa lang you can already see. In Una, it's us talking, the candidates themselves saying their advocacy and telling them what they feel about how they want to serve the people. In the Team Pinoy, they're just walking in a treadmill probably, and it's just the president talking. Is that already a prelude to what might happen if they win in the Senate?
Isn't that those strategies of having a very popular president right
But you must
now?
remember, Bina is more popular than Pinoy. And more, his trust rating and approval rating is higher than Pinoy's. But all I'm saying is, do we want a puppet Senate? Do we want everyone to be subservient to the executive branch? You know what? People may say whatever, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm for the Constitution, the rule of law. The Constitution states three co-equal branches of government. And if I feel that any branch is being marginalized in a way, I always speak out. Because for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's only the legislative branch of government who has oversight functions over the executive branch and the judiciary.
Correct. Yes.
But we're being
The checks and
marginalized already,
balances,
see?
yes.
And you can see it in the budget. The power of the purse is given to the legislative branch. I don't like it when Secretary Abad goes to Congress and says, pass the budget as is where is no amendments. Excuse me, under the Constitution, we're the ones who's supposed to make the budget, not you, in the executive branch. The Bible that is being used by the executive branch for their policies and programs rely on the budget that is being approved by Congress on where we want to put the people's money. But to dictate to us where we should put our own money is already an affront to the legislative branch of government. And I will always fight for the rights of the legislative branch of government, even though it will be perceived that I am against the executive branch. But that is my job, to defend our turf. The same way it's their job to defend
Yes.
their turf. You know what I feel sad about? The oversight functions of Congress right now, it's being marginalized. Nobody's using it to the hilt. We're the only ones who can call them out. We can call out the executive branch if in case policies and programs are not implemented properly, or let's say problems being faced by the constituents are not being addressed by the executive branch. We can always say, hey, wait a minute. You better come here to Congress and explain to us, where did you put our money this quarter? How come it's not being effective? If you're saying you're alleviating poverty, how come poverty went up by 53% instead of it going down? Maybe your program is wrong. Maybe the implementation is wrong. Maybe we should start fine-tuning it and find another solution to the problem because the existing solution we thought of is not really
working.
effective.
Well-
Is that bad? I think I'm just doing what the people expect me to do.
Well, so let me ask my last question then here. 3 terms in Congress, you've been outspoken about what you've accomplished and what you intend to do. Lessons learned, where did you succeed, where did you fail?
You know, I succeeded in change. I saw that there's still hope for this country. It's just a matter of explaining it to the Filipino people. My constituents are poor just like the rest of the country. But you know, I taught them one thing. I told them I did not give in to whatever they wanted. I just gave them what they needed. based on what budget I could afford. And I saw that they learned to respect me even without any money involved. Simply because I took care of them 24/7, 365 days a year. They saw that this is one lady who we can rely on every day. This is one lady who really has interest and concern in her heart for us, as compared probably to the others who will just show up during election period.
And you're tearing, Mitos.
Oh, because I remember how my constituents were and how they are and how they're being marginalized right now.
So let me ask you.
But for me, if ever there's tears in my eyes, that goes to show how compassionate I am towards my constituents. Hindi ako pusong bato. What they feel, I feel.
So let me ask you, instances where you failed, what could you have done better?
Probably, siguro failure is really a part of legislation. There were so many bills that I wanted to have discussed in Congress, but because of politics, it never saw the light of day. For 3 Congresses, I've been fighting for the review of the oil deregulation law. Because for me, the price of gasoline dictates the price of electricity, water, basic commodities. And in this Congress, at the start, I already filed my resolution again. In fairness to the past administration, we always discussed it. And that was the reason why there were instances that GMA gave in and she said, okay, we will suspend the collection on the importation of taxes and duties on oil, especially with the oil crisis happened in 2009. She sacrificed government earnings just so that the price of gasoline will go down. But in this administration, it never saw a light of day, not even one hearing was passed. And I said, why are we not hearing it? People are already complaining about the prices of commodities. Why don't we act on their concern? But because probably the chairman of our committee, which is the wife of Secretary Butch Abad, didn't want to, it never saw the light of day. And that's a failure for me. Because how can we address the problem of the people if you don't want to talk about it? It's so simple. You just bring everybody back to the drawing board and let's discuss where we can find a solution so that at least people naman will feel safe. Because let's face it, not everybody can afford every time the price of gasoline goes up and the price of commodities go up, their salaries don't go up. And they have to tighten their belt. Masikip na nga yung sinturon nila, sisikipan pa nila. So ano ang isasakripisyo nila?
You don't think their lives have improved?
No.
Okay.
The CCT really doesn't solve it.
Okay,
it's not a long-term solution.
We are out of time, and I wanted to say thank you so much for your thoughts. We've gone through a whole range of different issues and the positions you've taken. We've been speaking with Zambales Representative Mitos Magsaysay on Talk Thursday. Continue the conversation. She is on Twitter. Her Twitter handle is @Mitos Magsaysay. You can also send your questions to Facebook of Rappler. We'll make sure to get them to her. Thank you so much for joining us. An interesting romp through Philippine politics with Mitos Magsaysay. I'm Maria Ressa. Thank you for joining us.